If you're nearing $1 million a month or you're working up towards $1 million a month, these are all the things that don't work when it comes down to your health. What are the solutions and how it's going to apply at you specifically at $1 million a month. I'm going to break this down for you. I manage the lives of multiple people working and scaling towards $1 million a month, or they've exited, and I set up these systems specifically for them. And I run a company called Optimobility, which does this in home, orchestrating a chef, cleaner, orchestrating blood work, and a ton of other things. So today, I'm going to break down the problems and the paradigms that you need to shift in your mind with understanding exactly why health isn't working for you and you feel yourself degrading, and yet you feel like there's nothing that you can do about it, which is just a lost cause, and it's a broken system that's in your mind currently. And this video will orchestrate and completely eliminate all fear of continuing to spiral down that rabbit hole. So the first thing that I've outlined here is the broad topics of what doesn't work. And I'll deep dive each one in more specific terms and with concrete examples. But right now we have limitation, overconsumption, neglect, not being smart, negligence, disrespect, and avoidance. So the reason why these things don't work, the first thing is limitation. Limiting food from yourself, or limiting the ability to incorporate more stimulus into your routine, if that's with training, if that's with high quality nutrition, if that's with eating more, is not going to solve your problems, because you need fuel in order to run your Ferrari. And by starving the Ferrari of its fuel, you're not doing the roads, the people, yourself, the due diligence of driving that vehicle to where it's meant to be driven and how it's meant to be driven. So immediately the limitation of fasting or overdoing it in terms of not giving yourself the worthiness that you don't have time to eat, or you're just gonna avoid eating, or you're gonna skip eating, is doing you a lot more harm than good. There are obvious benefits of structured ketosis, structured intermittent fasting, etc. But ultimately, just like when you're playing chess, you're burning so many calories in your mind, and you need to live in abundance in terms of the nutrient profile that you're putting in yourself to fuel your mind so that it's racing in the right direction, and limitation is not going to get you there. As opposed to limitation, so limiting yourself, an instant solution for that could be Instacart. So obviously, it's easy to justify limiting yourself to food or limiting what you're supposed to be consuming, but by finding an easy and streamlined way to get food to you quicker, that action alone of removing the cost of delivery of getting food to you is going to fix a lot of those problems. The next thing is overconsumption of stimulants, and the reason why this doesn't work is, as you've noticed, you're getting stomach problems, you're feeling sluggish, and you're rewiring the entire dopamine mechanism for the way your mind naturally works through an ulterior motive. It's not orchestrated in your mind as a hormone, it's coming exogenously. And when it comes in exogenously, your natural cycles for living, sex, rewards, working out, happiness, motivation, all those things get altered. And once they get altered, that completely impacts the overall trajectory of your business. And sure, you might be working harder or working more in a certain direction, but that sort of stimulation is not sustainable. It's eventually going to crash and burn, and addiction is the root cause of all suffering in a lot of instances. And instead of consuming stimulants, over-consuming them, you can just increase your quality produce, high quality meats, high quality water, using a water filtration system to create less coffees so that your coffee is more potent, it's healthier, it's packed with minerals, it's packed with antioxidants. It's going to give you a much more sustainable boost as opposed to disrupting your current stimulant cycles. The next thing is neglect. Neglecting and not paying a big enough attention to your stomach aches, or your bloating, or your heart palpitations, or heavy breathing, or these problems that your body is trying to feed you, or your persistent shoulder injury, or your pelvic tilt, or your ankle problems, or your hips. That sort of neglect and not breaking down what the body is trying to communicate to you is going to cause a lot of problems down the line. And the reason being is neglect in terms of the body is always avoidance. It's always avoidance because we think that we're smarter than our bodies, and we treat them like they're not the only vehicle for the rest of our lives in terms of growth. And just by offsetting them and thinking that we can just work through it, we're actually destroying the potential for us to capitalize on our gains down the line. So you definitely do not want to neglect the body to any capacity. You could solve this by doing a simple blood panel and a DEXA scan, identify imbalances, and better understand limitations. If any sort of consultation really will solve any problems in terms of neglect, that's with a physiotherapist or a naturopath, and more specifically a gut insider test or a full blood panel of 86 markers full hormone, full lipid, etc., and then a $200 DEX scan. Super simple there. You think you're smarter than the body, and when you think you're smarter than what your body needs and craves, you assume that work comes before that because of the creation of your work specifically. As when you're creating something and you're generating a product and you're making all this money, you think that that is beyond the paradigm of what consists of your basic needs, which isn't true. You have to realize that it's foolery. And instead of thinking that you're smarter than your body, hiring somebody to come in and to clean everything for you, this is literally what we do, to clean everything for you, organize everything for you, do your laundry, clean up the couch, do a quick vacuum, restock, refill the water filtration system, order high quality mineral water, is going to be and give you a lot more back in terms of status. Specifically, it's going to really be smarter than you thinking that you're smarter than the body itself and just neglecting everything that kind of falls under that umbrella of responsibility, especially if you live with a partner. If you just stay in the office all day and you barely have time for them, you're going to face a lot of backlash with your relationship when a home manager or an in-home housekeeper chef can elevate the entire ethos of the home with a relatively low buy and relatively low ask. And again, I'll show you how to apply this all as a $1 million a month entrepreneur if you're working towards that benchmark in a bit here. I'm just going to go through the rest of the points. The next thing is negligence. Again, like I said, neglecting, negligence, kind of the same thing. The way you're going to combat this is with understanding. Once you truly understand the fundamentals of your problems, that's really where things will kick into overdrive. But here's the kicker. We've worked with clients, people that have paid us tens of thousands of dollars. They have negligence, and then they have understanding, but that does not solve their problem. And you might be asking, what do you mean it doesn't solve their problem? What do you mean negligence? We had a guy, he had an E. coli overgrowth in his stomach, okay? Yeah, all over the news, you see it, E. coli, salmonella. He had that sort of parasite in the stomach, and it had overgrown to the point where he could only consume enough things that I can count on my hands, so just meat and fruits. He did not give a shit that he had E. coli in his stomach. We couldn't even get him to go and walk to a Whole Foods to pick up the necessary base level supplements to rebalance his stomach. The reason why is because he paid us for coaching. I'm going to tell you something right now. Coaching doesn't work with health. It does not work. I've coached people that are 360 pounds down to 220 pounds. I've coached people that have started at 130 pounds, 140 pounds, and have gone up to 200 pounds. I've seen it all. Women, men, weight loss, weight. It doesn't work. Coaching does not work. It can work for a small amount of time. Like you can hire a health coach, but here's the reason why it doesn't work. Because the amount of time that is on your plate relative to the coach's time, because an exchange is happening here between the coach's time and your time, there's a huge imbalance here with how much your time is worth achieving this benchmark goal and how much the coach's time is worth achieving this benchmark goal. Now, you might be creating an argument in your head already, which is like, it's a commitment. I have to do what the coach says in order for me to get the result that I want. There's no other way to do it. I just can't do it because I'm not committed. No. You value this. You value the $1 million benchmark, whatever benchmark you're valuing, because you have momentum on the dream that you've built up. And your primary focus is not pertaining to what the coach's primary focus is, which is performance. I care about performance. I care about biking up a mountain. I care about biking really far. I care about running half marathons. But that doesn't mean that you need to care about those things to see success with being healthy. You have to treat it like an iPhone. Negligence equals understanding equals done for you system. So what we'll do is we'll see where you're exhibiting pains and problems with a simple onboarding form in coherence with, hey, are you seeing shoulder pains, bloating, blah, 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 blah. We'll test your entire body. We'll test your stomach, and we'll immediately give that test and that plan and that finding to the chef that we install in your home that creates the meal for you based on the negligence that you're exhibiting, because for whatever reason, your bodily feedback, you can't pinpoint the exact bacteria without doing the test. What test? You understand it. Boom, immediately. And I mean immediately, within the span of the meal test coming back, all of that stuff is orchestrated. And right away, what happens is the food that's now prepared for you is healing your stomach. Here it is. We have some rainbow carrots, some beautiful asparagus. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 servings of meat in the fridge. I eat this stuff every day because my stomach is balanced. I'm running a marathon. I'm training up my cycling ability currently. I care about performance. Those are the types of food that I'm eating. I don't really have any restorative problems with my gut right now. So the core non-negotiables for me are whole foods that my chef just prepared in the fridge for me. I am not going to cook that food even if I understand that I have an E. coli problem, because I'm here and I'm creating this company and I'm sharing value to you. And it's very difficult for me to sit there and cook a steak and to shop for all the little things that I need to fix my gut, as opposed to paying somebody to do that for me to spend more time doing what we're doing right now. That sort of realization of realizing, okay, I don't have to trade my time with a coach to be healthier. I have to create a system that uses data, uses science if it's really bad. If you just want to save time, you don't need to use science, but highly recommend uses science, and within the span of 3 days and the test coming back, it's already in front of me. All I do is I go to my conventional oven and I heat up the food that is designed for me and I put it in my mouth. The opportunity cost of me getting the thing that I need to consume at least twice a day in me is zero. It's not 5 minutes, it's not fucking with an app, it's not cooking, it's not cleaning up, it's not restocking, it's not shop, it's zero. Someone else does all of that for me, because this state and this flow and the way that I'm communicating and expressing myself and the passion that's coming across to the camera is a result of what is fueling me. And I cannot afford that to take away from my endeavors with scaling this company. I'm not here yet. I serve people that are here and I solve these problems for them. So I understand these problems very well. And I understand how they can grasp it, and you might feel like you're at an end all be all and there has to be a smarter way and all these things. The smartest thing is removing yourself as simply put as possible away from the day-to-day actions that you need to take to find success. And ultimately the day-to-day actions are really simple. It's eating, it's training, it's moving, it's stretching, and it's sleeping. It's not about the highest quality meat in the fridge. It's not about the water filtration system. It's not about a wooden cutting board. That's not what these things are about. It's about the distance from where you are now to where you want to get to with the shit you have to do on a day-to-day basis. That distance is predetermined as this giant chunk of time that no one has cut down into really clear, actionable steps. Just by having the chef piece alone in the home and me not having to give a shit about that at all, I'm saving 40 to 60 hours a week. A month. I always spiel 40 to 60 hours a month. Sometimes it's 10 to 15 hours a week. I get confused, but you get the memo. That's a smarter way of being healthy. And what I'm trying to emphasize to you is that you can do as many tests as you want. You can do a DNA test, you can do a gut test. You've probably already done a test. That test right now is sitting on your computer, or it's sitting in some file, or it's sitting in some cabinet drawer unapplied. You did it, you paid, your time commitment was high, you were excited, and then you realized, holy fuck, this coach or this person that I'm paying for is not making my life easier at all. You pay for this guy, this phone once. You pay for it once. And the amount of value that it brings back to you in terms of camera, memories, communication, shopping, money making, Slack, is infinite. And this sort of product is the future for how we have to mold the way that we do shit on a day-to-day. We're already seeing it with robots. We have robots coming in and cooking and cleaning. That's going to bleed into all of the existence of our lives with the shit that we shouldn't be doing. That's where humanity is going. And what I'm emphasizing is that you can respect, you can allocate, and you can fully understand your body and have it seamlessly laid out for you and seamlessly done for you, to the point where all you have to do is reach into the fridge, grab the food that you have to eat, and eat it while still working. Your chef knocks on your office door as you're working, serves you hot food, your flow is uninterrupted. My underwear, my polo shirt that I'm wearing right now, all of these things are cleaned. I don't touch them. I don't fold my own clothes because I am not doing shit that's worth under my hourly rate. And it's, like I said, I help and I work with people at this benchmark that have sold, that have families. We build up the credibility, we build up the trust. And just by hanging around and working with these people, even I, at this stage, I know that my time is not worth these medial things that I've already automated and that I've already set up for success with my health as I continue to run and scale this business. I wouldn't have it any other way. I came from 18 years in active physiotherapy. I spent the first 5 years of my life not being able to walk. I've been vegan, competitive Ironman triathlon, I do natural bodybuilding, I do all of these things, and the amount of time and the amount of demand that goes into being healthy is way too fucking high. It's way too high, and it's shit. It's completely shit because of how segmented and how separate everything is. In my most previous video, I actually broke it down quite simply with the benefit and the cost allocation and association with how, at this stage where you're at, how you're going to spend your time better with masterminds, hiring an agency, hiring internally a mentor, networking, or having the optimability system in home. And the problem is none of this shit is buying your time back. The exponential return on your time in the business is the most valuable lever for its growth. So why not create a system that buys into your time and helps you free it up? Multiply your hourly rate by 50 hours a month, to be conservative, by 52. That is your current hourly rate. Multiply that by 30. Now that's assuming your hourly rate doesn't go up. But the piece that is missing here is the vitality piece and the time back piece. There's no vitality and there's no infinite creation of reducing suffering as you continue to age with spending money elsewhere that doesn't invoke leveling up your system in home, that doesn't invoke leveling up you. That's the most important puzzle piece that a lot of people are missing with health in general, is they think they have to approach it the standard method with Uber Eats and all these shit approaches that just don't work. When in reality, those people are like ravens. Uber Eats restaurants, they're deriving a profit. They don't care about wooden cutting boards, they don't care about water filtration system or high quality meat produce or status. There isn't a solution to meet your needs and your status level with where it's currently at in health. It just doesn't exist. That's why we made it. And that's why we're here. And I'm trying to share and I'm orchestrating and I'm guiding you through the understanding process of where you're spending money now, where you could be spending money, and why not make it such a no-brainer to spend money on you? Because you spending money on masterminds, agencies, hiring, mentors, and networking is nowhere near as valuable as you freeing up how much time that you have, period. So if you can add an extra 50 to 60 hours a month, not even talking about your vitality, not even talking about fixing the problems in your stomach, 90% of the problems in your stomach and in your body are fixed with your food immediately. Within the first 1 to 2 months. Your face stops bloating, whole foods in the door, everything gets fixed. So many of your problems can be fixed, and the immediate benefit is so high that you continuously stay in flow state and you do not leave flow state, because you never want to leave flow state. Because that is where the creation piece for everything that you've done in your life up until this moment is at its fullest bloom. When you're in the level of abundance where you can sit on the computer for 5 to 6 hours, get up, go for a run or go to the gym, and you're being served and you're empowered at your desk, you will continue to create. And as long as you continue to create, you're gonna win. And you know that already. That's why you're watching this video and that's why you're at this level already. So why not set yourself up to continue to win at a very small repercussion and a fraction of the cost of a mastermind, agency hiring somebody, or networking? It's a no-brainer.